Welcome back. Now, we're gonna continue from the last time where everything got mumbo jumbo and the normals were broken due to vertices rotation. I guess it's illegal to rotate the vertices in 3ds Max unless you're an object. So what I basically did was rotate the whole object and move this vertices in this specific position and deleted the rest of them. So here's the mesh of a hammer that is cocked, uncocked, and here's the body. So before you do it, you have to reset the X form like that last time I explained it. To reset it, collapse, and yes, and there. Then you pick the body, go to utility tab, and collapse two mesh into one, like this. This way, the both normals and hammer of body won't be glitched like the last time. It looks fine. The next thing you want to do is, well, re-import this mesh. The reason for this is that sometimes there's an unknown issue to any edited mesh that it has broken UVs and normals and such thing. It looks fine now, but you never know. In order to prevent this, it is safer to re-import at this current state. So we're gonna do that right now. I'm gonna re-import this. So before you do anything, you have to save it first. Okay, let's save it here. Okay, already saved one just in case. Yes, and I'm gonna export this. Gonna name it body. It's 2. Yes, please. And there you go. Reset the scene. Import the one we saved. I believe it's here. And remove the mesh. Or the body. Has broken mesh. And I'm gonna import the FBX I exported, which is, I believe it's this one. And there you go, body 1, freshly re-imported. The next step we're gonna do is edit normals. Now, unlike body mesh, where smoothness actually matters, gun meshes have rigid edges like this, because there are objects that are not organic, but rather very rigid, like the lines here. But let's say you're porting a booty. It has to be smooth, right? So porting a booty, and your booty is all rigid like this. you have to edit normals. Go to modifier and you see edit normals, and you will see all these lines straight from hell or something. You can change this by reducing display length to, let's say, 1. It's much easier to see. And drag this and use threshold here and say 0.001. That doesn't work. Okay, 0.001. Surprisingly, don't work. And oh, here's a select button. Click, and you'll see whole model is smoothed out. It looks like an organic Beretta that straight out of something. It looks like a marshmallow gun. See? Now we don't want that. So unless you're porting an organic object, I say this once again because it sounds cool. It is necessary, I would say. Although sometimes when you port models and convert them into remeshes, your smoothing group data loses. So it starts to look quite odd, quite rigid like this. All these faces that is not very smooth. Look at all these lines in here. It looks a bit too rigid, almost made of glasses or something. So to prevent this, I usually put edit normals, but they don't do anything. But they still overrides some of the exportation data to prevent your smoothing group gets lost. Where the heck is my book? Okay. When you're done with editing normals, I would say let's go ahead to the behold, the infamous rigging part. You go to modifier and search a tab named skin wrap here. And what it does, it makes the gun black. Okay, actually. Where did it go? Okay, here. And what you want to do is add the parameter. Under parameter, there is an add button. You click that, and you add all 3 of the objects. Now, the reason for this is that this whole mesh covers up that meshes and copies the nearest bone weight of that mesh to its vertices. That's why it called skin wraps. This mesh wraps up. I accidentally added wraps up this original meshes and the data of their bone to its body. That's what it does. It wraps it. Okay, so we're gonna add more. We added number 1. We're gonna add number 2. It takes about some time, especially you're loading a large amount of bones in it. It will take about 10 to 15 seconds. Depends on your system. But gun meshes only have 6 of them, so it won't take long to load. There, we loaded all. Now we want to change this distance inflation. Did I say it correct? And change this value to 0.005 or the lowest lowest possible. The reason for this is that the amount it gets lower, the amount the bone copy method gets more precise. Although in gun skin wrapping, it isn't very much useful because you're going to custom skin all these parts, such as trigger, hammer, and slide, and magazine, and all that. So it isn't very useful for guns, but you're porting a model of a body. This is very crucial in order for your body parts to function as a body in skeleton. I'm gonna convert this to skin. Now, skin has all added bones that these original meshes have. Well, it differs sometimes. These three has in one mesh, which we want. Now, before we go, I'm gonna demonstrate how these bones are and what they are. Alright. So let's start with root. Root is not actually a bone, I think, but strangely it acts like a bone. But ignore root. It is there for sure, but just ignore them. I don't know why it's there, but it's just there. The first one we want to look at is actually 0, 0, this boy here, that contains all the other bones. This is the main bone of the gun. So your main frame has to be in that 0, 0 bone. Now under it, VFX02, this is muzzle 2. This is position of the shell escaping when fired, and this is muzzle flash position. Look how it's almost at the tip of the barrel. That is not very correct. And 0, 1. Now this is the hand position of Claire's, and Leon's is in 0, 1, 0, 0. So 0, 1 is Claire's and 0, 0 is for Leon. I know it's quite odd that hand position is way down here and the handle is there, but I don't know why. But that's just how it works. Okay, 0, 4. Now here 0, 4 is a magazine bone, as you can see. 0, 3 is a trigger. 0, 2 is hammer, and 0, 1 is a slider. So you have to acknowledge all these bones and what they do in order to skin them. But since we have it all, we're gonna start from the body, the main bone. I'm gonna hide this. Let's do that. I'm gonna select edit envelopes, vertices, and select element. And drag everything. It will select every vertices of your model. And we're going to weight them 0, 0. Now this will weight not only the main frame, but the triggers and hammers and sliders as well, which we don't want. So we're gonna separately edit their vertices. Why it keeps doing that? Their vertices separately. Let's start with, well, the magazine. I'm gonna drag this part. gonna hide it, and then gonna isolate the mag part by hiding other different parts of the gun. Now this may take a while, and it's pain in the ass to do it, but I haven't found a better way of doing it, which I really wish it wasn't. Ah, where are you going? I hate it when 3D Max does that. Okay, that's actually a different part. Okay, hide it. Hide. Looks legit. Alright. Okay. The magazine is isolated. And let's check if everything is in normal. Seems this part is quite suspicious, but I can safely guess it's not one of the magazine's part. It isn't. Good. Hide this back. The same thing as last time. Press edit envelopes and drag. This will select the magazine vertices. What is this strange little thing? You don't want that. I see everything is intact. Okay. I'm gonna apply bones to its vertices. Go to a table. Select all. Now to do this, just click it, Control A, and it will select all the vertices of the magazine. And you go to 04, which is the magazine bone, and you can now apply 1 to every vertices, just like that. To do so, Control and right clicking this section of it will automatically put every vertices at 1 weight, which is pretty solid, like this. Bum bum bum. And you see everything is 0, but this part. This will make sure the magazine is fully intact with the magazine bone. And that shall we do for the other parts. Let's start is magazine. Now, I say it wrong. Next up is slide. Now this is the pain in the ass rigging part, because you have to select everything that is on there. Seems like everything. Gonna hide it. We don't need this. We don't need that. Okay. We don't need the hammer. Now when it's too dark for you to look at, there's a cheap way of doing it. I don't think we do need this or this. We want the chamber to stay, but the slider. Okay, this part is a different part of the mesh, so we're going to hide it. Okay, this part is quite odd, as well as this. If anything looks suspicious, just hide them all. You can always come back and unhide it. Everything looks legit. Let's go check him out. Okay. Unhide, hide. See, everything is still in there. Okay. Now this part doesn't belong to this guy, so we're gonna hide it. Now it looks more like it. It's good enough, I would say. Okay. Now we're gonna apply a slider bone. Same as the last time. Edit vertices, drag. Wait before you drag anything stupid. That looks legit. Gonna apply weight table and select the one, which is a slider bone. It's in here. Control, right click. Now the easiest part is trigger and hammer, and we're gonna both them simultaneously. Looks good. Maybe trigger has its upper cap. Let's see. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have it. Alright. Go to skin. Edit envelopes. Drag this trigger part. And not the hammer part. Be careful not to throw any vertices from the hammer when you're skinning trigger, because that would look really weird. Trigger bone is 0.3, so control right click. Everything is 1. And draw hammer part. Apply weight to 0.2, which is on hammer bone. Now the skinning is done. I'm gonna unhide all and check if everything went well. Hammer. Slider. Okay, that looks kind of weird, but okay. Trigger. Beautiful. And magazine. Perfect. Also, we want to apply and changing muzzle flash position, since the gun is quite bigger than the original one. The original one barrel is stationed right here, unlike the modified barrel, it's way up there. So we want to change that. Now you don't have to be very precise with this. Just feel free to customize whatever you want. Just be left and on dead center, like that. Gonna push it a little further. It looks legit. My shell escape. Well, if you look at the model, see, the chamber is stationed here. So when shell escapes, and probably it will do so around this position. So we're gonna move further back. Well, that looks alright. Maybe a bit up. That's good. Now we're done with skin wrapping. Next is the final stage before exportation, which is naming. I always go for mesh 1, because usually mesh 1 is the whole body that contains everything, and same goes for this mesh, because it has whole body is in just one mesh. Copy the name and paste it over, and the other is unnecessary. Now, if you did everything right, then you won't have any problems. But sometimes a problem just happens, and you have to know why. If you haven't done any savings, now is the great time to save yourself. Save it once more. Let's save it. Save one. No. I'm gonna save. This is the last part I did a video, and it didn't record the voices, so I'm actually doing this for the second time. Okay. We're gonna save it something like 92FS test 1. Save it there. Now you want to export this, but you don't want all these parts, because they are unnecessary, so you have to delete them. It's okay, we just saved it, so won't matter. And now, moment of truth. Export. I'm gonna export as a 90fs test 1 and save it. And just ignore that. And voila! Export it. Now time to check. You open your Noasis and you open the exported FBX and see everything is in there. Now you have to port it as remesh, which is here. Click. and export. Now it says choose a mesh file to export over. This means you have to pick a file that you originally exported. The mesh, remember Samurai Edge remesh that you picked up from the PAK file? Well, just pick that one so that we can export over. Okay, and press OK. Export complete. Let's see if it exported. This is the mesh that is out. If anything that has came out from this Oasis, it will have a naming that says out. So we want to pick that up. It will ask you where the MDF files are located, just like the remesh does. We're gonna pass and see everything is there. Now we just need the textures. Okay. Now textures, I already have files of textures here. Now, before we go through anything, there are things I have to explain, which means there are 3 types of textures: album, ATOS, and NRMR. And what they do is pretty simple. This is albedo plus metallic map or something. Click it. This is a texture from another model. It's called MQ-11 submachine gun, and you see it's an albedo map that has metallic surface as an alpha channel. Let's go with NRMR. This is a normal map that has a roughness surface as an alpha channel. Normals, roughness. Albedo, metallic map. So it's pretty simple. ATOS, there's a longer term for it. Let me just phrase it. It says alpha metal translucency occlusion SSS. I don't know what that means, and I don't need to know. ATOS is the one where the shading thingy is stationed on blue channel and makes us look kinda yellow thingy. But if this thing is stationed in red channel and the other is all blank and it comes blue. Now this one is actually called MTOS. Stands for metallic translucency occlusion all over again. And that's how they operate, it seems. But we do need ATOS for it. When you look at the original file, let's see, 7000. That's the file. The texture you need is album and RMR, and these 2 only. So ATOS, some models they don't require for it. But you can change that. You can forcefully fed your ATOS to this model, and I'm gonna show you later about that. So let's edit this out, shall we? Let's make our own model. Now, when you open your custom model albedo, you'll have this kind of textures for your model and alpha channel. Now, alpha channel, we need metal map for it. So where can I find this metal map? Well, sometimes it's in your one of your textures. Well, it says exponent. Let's open that one. seems